I never believed in haunted places. Ghost stories were just a way to spice up boring lives. That changed the day I followed my cousin into the woods behind our grandfather's farmhouse in Kentucky. We were visiting for the summer. The old man always warned us, don't go past the fence. Those woods don't forget. Of course, being 17 and stupid, we ignored him. It started with a dare. My cousin Jay had heard from local kids about a church hidden deep in the woods, a place where people once worshipped something, not God, a building abandoned for over a century. The story went that if you found the church and entered after sunset, you'd never be the same. I laughed it off. But Jay, he was obsessed. Every night he'd talk about it, how it might still hold secrets, old relics, or even just a cool place to film for his YouTube channel. On the 5th night, he finally convinced me. We packed 2 flashlights, a power bank, and his phone. Around 6:30 p.m. we slipped past the rusted wire fence and into the thicket. The deeper we walked, the quieter it got. Birds stopped chirping. No wind, no frogs. Just the sound of our footsteps and breaking twigs. It felt wrong, but I didn't say anything. After almost 40 minutes of hiking, we saw it half hidden by hanging moss and vines. The church. It was tall, blackened with rot, its steeple leaning like a drunk man. The door wasn't locked. Jay pushed it open. A rush of cold air hit us. It stank like something long dead. Inside was darkness. Even our flashlights struggled to light the corners. The pews were splintered, but intact. The altar stood at the far end. Behind it, a giant stained glass window, shattered at the top, revealed only stars. Jay walked down the center aisle like he was in a trance. I stayed close behind. There was something wrong with the altar. It wasn't made of stone or wood, but bone, not animal bone, human. Skulls, femurs, jawbones carefully stacked and sealed with dried black wax. Jay reached for his phone. Click, he took a photo. That's when everything changed. The flash lit up the whole church for a second, but in that second I saw them shadows. In the pews, sitting, watching. When the flash faded, they were gone. But I know what I saw. Jay didn't say anything. He just looked frozen. You saw them too, right? I whispered. He nodded slowly, eyes wide. Then the door slammed shut. Both ran to it, but it wouldn't open. We pushed, kicked, even tried the windows, but the place was sealed tight. That's when we heard the whispering, not loud, not angry, just wrong. It came from all around us, inside the walls, under the floorboards. We backed away from the door and huddled in the center aisle. Jay dropped his phone. The screen cracked. The whispering got louder. Then something started crawling down from the steeple. I swear on my life it wasn't human. Pale skin, elongated limbs, no eyes, just an endless black where its face should have been. It twisted down the wooden beams. Like a spider. We bolted. Jay ran toward the altar. I followed, screaming at him to stop, but he reached into a hollow behind the bone structure and pulled something out, a black book, leather-bound, and soaked in something that looked like blood. As soon as he touched it, everything stopped. The whispers. The creature. Even the church itself seemed to exhale, like it had been waiting for this. The door creaked open. We ran, didn't stop till we were back at the farmhouse. My grandfather was waiting on the porch. He looked at Jay, then at me. You went, he said. Did you touch it? Jay nodded, silent. Grandpa didn't speak to us the rest of the night. The next morning, Jay was gone. His bed was made, his backpack still in the room. No footprints, no note, no sound. Just gone. I searched the woods for 3 days. Nothing. The police said he probably ran away, but I know better. I saw what that place did to him. That church doesn't want visitors. It takes them, and the worst part, some nights, when I can't sleep, I hear the whispering again, even though I'm hundreds of miles away, even though I never touched the book. Sometimes I see things in the shadows of my room, figures sitting in silence, watching me like they're waiting for me to come back. Title: The Church That Doesn't Let You Leave. It started with a detour. We were supposed to be heading to a lake house my friend Peter had rented for the weekend. 4 of us, me, Peter, his cousin Riley, and my sister Jess. We took a back road because Google Maps showed traffic on the main route. The sun was just starting to dip behind the trees when we saw it. A tiny dirt road, nearly swallowed by the woods. Peter slowed down. Shortcut, he muttered, more to himself than to us. The GPS flickered once, then it recalculated and confirmed it connected to the road near the lake. So, we turned. For the first 10 minutes, the ride was quiet. Trees pressed in tightly on both sides. It felt like the woods were watching. Then Jess spoke up. Did you guys see that? She pointed out the window, but whatever it was had vanished into the brush. Probably a deer, I said. But then we saw the building. At the bottom of a shallow hill, surrounded by blackened trees, stood a church, white paint flaking off, no cars, no people. Just a cross, crookedly hanging above the double doors. Peter slowed down again. "Let's check it out," Riley said, from the back seat. His voice carried that curious, half-daring tone he always used when he was trying to act brave. I should have said no. Every part of me screamed to stay in the car, but nobody listened to that feeling, not back then. Peter parked on the grass. We got out. It was colder near the church. That's not just in my head. The air had a bite to it. Jess wrapped her jacket tighter. "This place feels wrong," she said. The front doors weren't locked. Riley pushed them open with a loud creak. Inside, the smell hit us first. Old wood, mold, something else like metal. The pews were dusty and warped. Candles had melted into the floorboards, their wax forming ghostly fingers. Stained glass windows were shattered, jagged colors like broken teeth. But what really caught our attention was the altar. It was clean, untouched, like someone had been here recently. A thick book sat open on it, but the pages were blank. No words, just lines of symbols that hurt your eyes if you stared too long. Peter reached for it. Jess grabbed his wrist. "Don't," he laughed. "It's just a book." But when he tried to close it, the pages fluttered on their own, fast and wild, like they were caught in a storm. The doors slammed shut behind us. We all jumped. Riley ran to the door. "It's locked." I ran to help him. Nothing. The knob wouldn't even move. Jess kicked at it. No give. That's when we heard it. A dragging sound. Slow, heavy, coming from behind the altar. Peter stepped back. "Nope, not dealing with this." Too late. Something peeked from behind the altar. Just for a second. A shape. Pale, thin, no face. Just skin stretched over bone. We screamed. The candles lit up on their own, and then the whispering began. At first, it sounded like wind, then words, then chanting, over and over in a language none of us understood. Jess was crying. Riley was frozen. Grabbed Peter. "We have to find another way out." We ran to the back of the church, where a hallway stretched into darkness. Doors lined the sides, all closed. Peter kicked the first one open, a nursery. Broken rocking chairs, empty cribs, walls covered in childlike drawings, but the drawings didn't look right. Children with blacked out eyes. People hanging from trees, a church with red smears dripping from the steeple. Jess screamed behind us. She'd opened the next door. It was filled with mirrors, hundreds of them, floor to ceiling, and in the mirrors, we weren't us. Our reflections were smiling when we weren't. One of them waved. Peter slammed the door shut. "We need to get out now." Riley spoke, but his voice was wrong, flat, monotone. "We're already inside." I turned. His eyes were white, no pupils. Jess screamed again. "What's wrong with him?" Peter grabbed a broken piece of pew. "Back off." "Man," Riley laughed. Not his laugh. Something wearing his voice. Then he collapsed. Just dropped like a puppet with cut strings. We dragged him down the hallway, trying every door. All led to nowhere, twisting staircases. Rooms that didn't obey physics. One with no floor at all. Just darkness. Eventually we found a back door. It opened. We didn't question it. We ran. Into the woods. Into the dark. Into anything that wasn't that church. We didn't stop running until we reached the car, except ... It wasn't where we left it. It was parked differently, like someone had moved it. We piled in anyway. Peter started it up. The engine turned over, but the headlights flickered. That's when we saw them. Figures standing at the tree line, dozens of them, dressed in old-fashioned clothes, eyes glowing faintly, all facing the church, not us. The church. Peter drove fast. The road twisted more than we remembered. The trees blurred by, and then ... We were back. In front of the church, like we never left. "No," Jess whispered. No. Peter tried again. Turned around. Took the same road in the opposite direction back at the church. It wouldn't let us leave. We tried everything, every road, every turn. Always back. At some point, we lost track of time. Our phones didn't work. Watches stopped. Even the sun just hovered at the same point in the sky, like the world was stuck on pause. We tried sleeping in the car. Riley didn't wake up. We shook him, poured water on him, slapped him. Nothing, and his skin started to look ... wrong. Top, pale, thin, like that thing we saw behind the altar. Jess broke down. "It's using him." I believed her. That night Peter said he had a plan. He was going back inside. Said he needed to burn it down. We tried to stop him, but he was already gone. Before we could grab him, the church didn't burn. Instead, it roared. Sound so loud it cracked the sky. We covered our ears, screamed, and cried. And when it stopped, everything was quiet. And Peter was gone, not dead. Just ... gone. The church stood, untouched. Then the sun moved, the air shifted, and the road finally led out. We drove without speaking. Riley never woke up. His body was gone by the time we got to the hospital. Just a pile of clothes in the back seat. They never found Peter. They didn't believe us. They said we were dehydrated, hallucinating. But I know the truth, because last week I got a letter. No name, no return address, just a photo of that church. And 4 figures standing in front of it. Me, Jess, Riley, Peter. And a 5th one. Behind us, faceless,